Job security should be given. That is called the non-financial incentives. If you work like him, if you work like her, definitely you can reach, and that is what the status is all about. There are few organizations which will actually fund you for your post graduation. It involves a basic changes. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Commerce and Management at Vidhyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students for the third session of incentive plans. Now in this third session, we'll go back what exactly we had done in the second session as well. So it's a recall for you people. We had done financial incentives, and the financial incentives, when we went with, I told you about what all are the things which will come in the financial incentives. They are, the first one here, we went with profit sharing. That means the employees are able to actually get the profits of the company if they work really hard. That means the people will actually share the profit itself. Then we have co-partnership. Now co-partnership, profit sharing, bonus, commission, that is which is linked with the wage system, and pay and allowance. There were so many allowances were given to the employees. So all in terms of monetary benefits, this is called the financial incentives. Then retirement benefits, and the last one is perquisites. Now here you need to understand is, if you work really good, if you're honest with your organization, if you show them that you are capable of reaching the pinnacle, if they motivate you, train you, and if they go with the development programs, then what happens is all these financial incentives you will definitely get in an organization. But to get it, you should actually work really hard. So these were the financial incentives which we have already come across in the second session. But here in this session, I'm going to teach you something about the non-financial incentives. Now, what are the non-financial incentives? Like non-monetary benefits. But still, you feel that that is also considered as incentives. So how can it be like incentives when monetary benefit is not there? Let me tell you here. There are n number of people who are working in the organization. More than the financial incentives, they want something which is non-financial incentives, like status, right? You have a pride saying that I work in this organization and I have the position which I am capable of taking it. And what exactly happens here is, there are few times money cannot buy all these things, right? That is what it is. Status, money can't buy that. Though you may get high salary, though you may get a kind of a different thing, but the status is there, no? That stature is there. That is very, very important. So here when we go with non-financial, the first one itself is what? The status. Next here, the status is fine. You got the status, but human is always what? Human is a being who is always, he goes with unlimited needs. So you can't fulfill all his needs, but there is something called the career advancement opportunity. The human is always, he strive for opportunity. Next we have is organizational climate. See here, the organizational climate, when I talk more about it, you will understand that a healthy atmosphere, a healthy culture, a culture where people will not get stressed, overburdened, all these things, then what happens is they will only think about productivity. So you need to keep your organization a healthy climate. Next, job security. See, this is where non-financial is very useful than the financial incentive. Say example here, past 6 months you did really good and you got the best manager award. After 2 months, they found that you're not doing anything and they have fired you. Now, how will you feel? Now, past 6 months, you did something and you got financial incentives, right? But after 2 months, what happened? That's a big question mark, isn't it? So that's the reason job security should be given. That is called the non-financial incentives. And after the status, career advancement, organization climate, and we have job security, we still have 4 more, that is job enrichment. Now in HRM2 you have studied this word called job enrichment, employee participation, and then we have this topic called as employee empowerment, giving your employees the power to decide. That is what the employee empowerment. Even this is what non-financial incentives. When you give that power to your employee, saying that you can schedule your meetings, you can decide what the other person should actually do, you can decide all these things. So empowering the employee, what happens is he'll feel that the management has recognized me, they have given me a responsibility, I need to actually be so good with the management as well as the organization. So that oneness you will actually acquire here in employee empowerment. And the last one here is recognition. Who doesn't need a recognition? But please understand, there is a lot of difference between status and recognition. Both are not in the same way here. So these four plus the other four will actually give you the non-financial incentives. So we'll go one by one. We'll see what all are the non-financial incentives and how management will boost the employees, as well as how the employees get benefited with the non-financial incentives. The first one here we have is status. Now say example, let's go with the practical examples. You people need to understand that the minute you join any company, here, right? Now you're a person here, you want to actually go to a company. So we have levels of management, of top, middle, supervisory, operational, all those. We have the levels of management. You have finished your graduation, that is undergraduation, you have finished your BBA, and you have taken the specialization or the elective as human resource management, and you go to the company to work. Now you will be actually placed in the supervisors level. Then we have something called the middle level, and then we have the top level, right? So these are the levels. So you will be placed under the supervisory level. Here you people will be. Are you happy with that? Definitely yes, because it's your first job and you are somewhere here. But after 3 years, if I see you in the same position, that means what? You are really not doing good, and your organization wants you, but they will not promote you. That means you are a person who's fit for the organization, but not for the other promotions. But say example, after 3 years, now say 2021, you have joined a company. After 2025 also you are in the same level. That means the organization has not recognized you. Though your salary will be little high, but that doesn't mean that the status is the same. So only if in 2025, at least if you come to the middle level, now that means what? People have recognized you, they have given you a status, and people who are in the supervisor level, they'll feel that if I work like him, if I work like her, even I'll be getting promotion. So that status is there, right? People recognizing you in the organization, plus you get those benefits, you get those power, authority, responsibility. That is what the status is. People will look for you. So that status you are supposed to get, and this you can attain only if you go with the higher and higher promotions. And say after, like say example, you stay in the same company 2035 and you are here top level. So this is what the status is. See the growth, your graph, if you take an example, it's always like this, it's booming, and people will take this as one of the example, and they'll show it that if you work like him, if you work like her, definitely you can reach. And that is what the status is all about. Next here, it means formal position in the organization. That is, the entire organization knows you. The people, they have trusted you and they have given you the authority with the responsibility, and you have also done your work honestly, and you are showing them that these are the things how it should be done. So that is what the status you get. So higher status will definitely motivate a person by satisfying their ego needs, has lot of prerequisites and authority is attached to it. That means you will definitely get all the benefits, and you feel that people are looking at you, and you feel that people are respecting you, and that is what the status for you is all about. So that is a non-financial incentives. The second one we have is career advancement and opportunity. How will you get opportunity? See, more than why organizations should hire you, what you people do, and many people fail for it. I work for any organization who will pay me 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. You start quoting yourself. But the thing is, the other hand, the organization is looking for people who will do something for the organization. So when you understand this kind of a opportunity in the organization, now you people can actually go for an advancement. Saying, now example, the same example will carry forward. So right now we are in the middle level, and say it is 2023. We are in the middle level. We joined in 2021. Somewhere we were here in the supervisory level. Now 2023. How will you actually go? You have done only this UG, that is undergraduation, right? Now how can you reach the top level? That's a question mark. You can actually reach the top level through only one of the plan, that is your career advancement opportunity. That is what most of the employees want to grow in their career. That is correct. If sound promotion policy and training programs are implemented, it helps them to achieve promotion. That means what? Now you are supposed to go with n number of training sessions. You need to actually polish your skills. You need to motivate yourself to work more what you were working earlier. But still, there are few organizations which will actually fund you for your post-graduation through training programs, plus you are supposed to take your post-graduation. Now you have finished your MBA. Say 2023 you took your distance education or any kind of a correspondence you have taken, or there are companies, if they see that you have talent, they will only fund you and they'll send you to a regular MBA colleges or any post-graduation colleges. They'll only fund you. But what is the agreement between you and them is, after 2 years or after you finish your master degree, you are supposed to come back. See, that means what? They have recognized you. They know what is your strength. Now they really want you. That's the reason they are funding for you. Now this is what the advancement is. That is opportunity advancement or career advancement is. After 2023, when you come back, now you will be working again in the middle level, and the minute they see that there is a change, that you can bring a revolution in the organization, now you will actually come in the year 2025 or 26. So this is what the another non-financial incentives is. Next one we have is organizational climate. Now here in the organization or in your house or anywhere, wherever you go, you should always have that positive vibration coming forward. Or you should actually give them, or they should actually give it to you. So the climate is very, very important. When I say the climate, it is not about the monsoon or is it summer or something. Climate in the sense a healthy atmosphere in a workplace. Even that will be a non-financial incentive. The reason here I'll tell you. If your atmosphere, in the sense if your environment has a very good atmosphere, a healthy atmosphere, you feel like working in the organization, you feel like coming to the organization, you feel like spending time in the organization. But supposingly you don't have a healthy climate, healthy atmosphere in the organization, you don't even want to sit for 1 minute or for even 30 seconds. The reason here is you don't like it. So when you don't like it, people will tell you to do it. See, you are supposed to work in the organization, but you're not happy with the climate here. You cannot give your 100%. Productivity can never be increased. This act has one of the non-financial incentives. So here, if management takes special efforts in maintaining, see, the climate should be what? Maintaining better organizational climate in the form of better working conditions, What are the examples of working conditions? Say example here, I'll tell you. These are the few of the examples. We have the examples here. So the examples here, we have the first example here, working condition, that is healthy competition among the workers, healthy competition. Now, this healthy competition will actually be a very good, healthy atmosphere which can be given in the organization. Say everybody wants to go with a competition, but there is nothing called cutthroat competition. It's a healthy competition that everybody wants to strive productivity. Second one, we live in brotherhood, right? We live in brotherhood, like a family, brotherhood or family. There is not like an autocratic leadership involved in the organization. So you will avoid autocratic or authoritarian. What is it? Authoritarian or autocratic. See, the more autocratic or authoritarian type of a leader if you go with, they'll start dictating you and you don't feel like working for them. So it should always be participative. It should always be like empowerment. So these things which will actually give a healthy atmosphere in the organization. There should be nothing like bullying somebody or ragging somebody, right? Making fun of somebody or highlighting a person's mistake in front of everybody. Those things should be avoided. So we have this organization climate, and the next one we have is job security. Now, job security. Say in India, a country where you have 1.35 billion population, if I need to go with 135 crore population, job opportunity is very less. People who have already got job, now it is an uncertainty for them whether they can continue in the next year. Because every year the employer will get the employee, because every year graduates are graduating. So it's always a dilemma for the employee that if I don't work properly, will I be in the organization or I'll be kicked out of the organization. So if that will be a dilemma, if that will be their confusion, if that will be their question, now how can they achieve productivity? How can they get a healthy atmosphere? How can they not get disturbed? So that's the reason the employer, the top level management, need to actually plan for the career development opportunities. Like, you work for me, I'm there for you. If that I'm there for you concept comes from the employer, now the job security is there. So he will never have that feeling that even if n number of people get graduated, n number of people who leave other company, and if they come to my company, still my position will be secured. If that security you give it to your employee, now your employee will not have any other things in his mind. He'll only aim for productivity. So that's why non-financial incentives. See, job security is what? Non-financial incentives, but he'll be getting salaries. That is a different one. But that peace of mind what you give to your employees, that becomes a non-financial incentives. Next one we have after this is job enrichment. Now in the HRM2 we have studied what is job enrichment. Now here in job enrichment, there are two things which you are supposed to understand. The first one here is it involves a basic changes. What is it? The first one is it involves basic changes in what? In the content and level of responsibility of a job. So you as a person need to know what are the things which you are supposed to do and what are the things which you are not supposed to do here. So to provide greater challenge to the employee, challenge to the employees. So you should actually take initiative and you are supposed to work for the betterment of the organization, because that will give you a benefit and they'll show it in the salary hike, promotion, all those things. It gives employees more authority. So now you have that power. What you have? You have that power. more control over the job situation. See, when you go with job enrichment, now you are making your status, you're making your career, you're making your position in the organization. Now organization have already recognized you. Now they are giving you more powers, more authority, but with authority they are giving you responsibility also. Now you can take your decisions, but you are a person who is responsible for everything. That is what the job enrichment is. Now, job enrichment result in high internal work motivation, high growth and development, satisfying the high work effectiveness and high commitments. So you have a job. Now you are enriching your job, enriching your status, enriching your position, enriching your authority. So that is what job enrichment is. Now that type of a feeling is what now the entire project is for me. I'm the person who will take all the decisions. But if it clicks, you are successful. If it is a failure because of somebody else, but still it's a failure of yours. That is what the job enrichment is. Employee participation. So now here employee participation, please do understand, it's just like the workers participation in the management. Even the employees should actually participate in that management decisions. But here what happens is the manager is a person who will take all the decision, but still as an employee of the organization, even you will be getting time, or you will be getting an opportunity where you can actually suggest to your managers what is best for the organization. That is, managers should encourage participation of subordinates in the organizational matter, even if the ultimate decision making power rests within the manager or not. But that participation will make you feel that you are always a part of the organization. Next one we have is employee empowerment. Now, employee will use their skills and talents positively if they are given more powers and autonomy. See here, the more powers you give and then you see to it, they'll feel that people have recognized me, they have given me authority. Now I need to prove to it that I am the best person, and they have given the work for a person who is deserved. It will improve their performance in the organization. That is what it is. You motivate those people. Even that is also one of the non-financial incentives. The last one we have is recognition. So whatever we went with, the entire non-financial, you felt one thing, that is each and everything was recognized by the organization. That is appreciation, praising a person. Okay, he can do this work. So example, there a problem arose and the top management decided that XYZ person should be given this problem, but because he is the right person to solve it. That is what recognition is. Now that XYZ, that person has made his name. That is what recognition is all about. So here we have the praise. Appreciation has its greatest impact when given and received as recognition, which helps in improving attitudes of the employees and motivates them to perform better. So you should always go with what? The positive attitude towards your work performance, better than those with negative attitude. So people who have more positive attitude will work very good than people who have negative attitudes. So these are the non-financial incentives for you. Any doubt regarding this session, please do call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.